Helen of Troy is black.
Let's make Helen of Troy black, you know, let's make Elizabeth I black, let's make Queen Victoria black, you know. It's all the same kind of stuff, isn't it? It's just this nonsense stuff.
When news first came out, I was elated. She's perfect for this role. One, because Helen of Troy was thought to have a face that could launch 1,000 ships. And look at the material. Look at this face. I'd go to war for her.
It's drip, drip, drip that we have to deal with time and time again, but it is pernicious, okay?
Yeah.
Lupita Nyong'o, the actress, is going to play the most beautiful woman in the world and the face that launched 1,000 ships, the catalyst for the Trojan War. And in case you need a visual, we'll put it up on the screen. On the left, you have Helen from the 2004 movie Troy. On the right, you have Lupita Nyong'o.
This is the stupidest, most asinine shit I've ever seen. And I was born in Greece. The northern side, Macedonia to be exact, hence the light features. But if we're gonna rewrite history into this fucking debacle, then certainly this should be allowed.
It is taking apart the very fabric of our culture, where we come from. And we're the only culture that does it, Kev. Can you imagine a Muslim filmmaker making Muhammad a Jewish woman?
I didn't do nothing. Shoplifting ain't against the law. I asked to buy Kool-Aid with food stamps and y'all said you don't do that no more, but I gotta get my nails done.
They said it's the first clip of Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy in the Odyssey. I am so over Lupita Nyong'o's beauty being up for debate. So many comments saying, oh, how could she be Helen of Troy? Y'all are saying there was a war started over that face?
It's what can we do? Let's just chuck everything in, chuck every single modern cliche in and rubbish something that is actually for us and for me and for anybody who's interested in Western culture is actually a sacred text.
If you think Helen of Troy cannot be black, you don't know history. Here we go.
Classical Greek culture is heavily indebted to Afro-Asiatic and Near Eastern roots. That are saying that Helen of Troy could not possibly be played by a black woman don't know history.
No, European history didn't have anything to fucking do with black people. What are we talking about?
So there's something really horrible going on here. And I think Elon Musk is absolutely right in really throwing his weight behind this and rubbish. It's about the chipping away of our, as I say, our identity, really. That's what it's about. We are not allowed, and we're the only civilized, we're the only society, the only culture that is not allowed to be itself. We have to incorporate other cultures and allow them to take over, because if we don't, we are, of course, racist.
New images from the Odyssey. Fake. Fake.
My biggest issue is I'm not sold that that's Helen of Troy, because Helen of Troy was supposed to be gorgeous, like drop dead, like fight a war over her, gorgeous. And before you say it, it's not that I think she's not beautiful because she's black. I'm just racist. I'm obviously kidding. What they really should have done, and I swear to God they did this on purpose, what they should have done is use a gorgeous black girl.
Fake. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Oh, man.
What our society is built on, it's an incredible piece of work. It's 24 books long. But to take it apart in this way and almost it's taking the mickey out of it. There's something snide about it. There's something horrible about it.
And so this week, when it came out that Nolan had cast actress Lupita Nyong'o to play Helen of Troy, the most beautiful woman in the world, so beautiful that the story of her abduction literally started the Trojan War, long been described and perceived and portrayed as this like blonde, fair-skinned beauty, Helen of Troy. You would think that the same people who were nitpicking the historical accuracy, colors of things, the beauty, all of that they would take issue with that casting as well, right? Like you would think that they would keep the same energy. Wrong! Obviously wrong. Obviously not. They just decided to call out everybody on the right as being racist. And so suddenly now, the Odyssey has become the latest culture war fodder. So obviously Lupita's role being announced sparked a frenzy on X. For example, Matt Walsh posted, "We're told that we shouldn't object to Helen of Troy being portrayed as a black woman, and yet if a major Hollywood studio made a film set in Africa and cast a white woman as the most beautiful woman in Africa, those same people would literally riot in the streets. If, say, Sydney Sweeney was cast in the role, they would be driven to murderous violence. We all know this is the case."
And what you're doing is you're saying, look, we're ashamed of this culture. All we can think of doing is pulling ourselves apart and criticizing ourselves while not doing anything to anybody else. And it feels as though the intellectual history of the last 20 or 30 years has completely obsessed with doing that one particular thing. It's pulling ourselves apart, turning ourselves inside out, and making ourselves somehow fretful and regretful for something that frankly we haven't done.
Helen of Troy shone with long golden hair and sea blue eyes, beautiful enough to launch 1,000 ships. For reference, this is the Penguin Classics original of Homer's The Odyssey. Now, I'm no casting expert, but to me it doesn't seem like Lupita Nyong'o matches Homer's original description of Helen of Troy. They could have instead chosen to use an actor like Margot Robbie or Scarlett Johansson. Now, on a real note, I think everyone knows what they're doing. I think it's just wrong how you can so blatantly misrepresent a blonde character like this, and it's only a problem if you do it the other way.
Our culture is there to be celebrated. We should celebrate it because it's extraordinary.
Where is Helen? Bring her to me! Achilles! I'm here! Shit.
What took y'all so damn long? Do you understand how long I've been waiting in this city? Don't you know I'm the most beautiful damn woman in the whole damn world? 10 years of war, and not one of y'all thought to check inside.
Oh my God.
Helen of Troy. She is the face that launched 1,000 ships. By the way, you are one of the most beautiful women in the world, and I'm so happy that Christopher Nolan called you for this. What was your reaction when you heard that you were his first choice for this?
I was stunned. You know, this isn't something I ever dreamed would happen, and it was just such an incredible honor to work with Christopher Nolan to begin with, and then to play these two iconic queens, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I was stunned. I was stunned, and I was so excited. I said yes immediately. I mean, why wouldn't I?
In 1519, 27 years after Columbus's arrival to the so-called New World. Another thing they don't tell you, again, you heard my associate...
Well, why haven't we heard these things before? Why don't we read them in the New York Times, Birmingham News?
If I stole another man's country, and I brought your ancestors here to work for me, could I tell you how great your ancestors were and still expect to keep you in slavery?
Well, let me give you a better, not better necessarily, but an added situation of that. Most black people in Birmingham, Alabama, like in Harlem, New York, are Christians, and they go to in a black community, a black minister, a black congregation, but with a white Jesus. Because they didn't know that that Jesus, up until Pope Julius II, had the first black Jesus painted. He had Michelangelo to do it. But up until that time, the world worshipped the black Madonna and Child. The present Pope is going back to Poland to worship at the statue of the black Madonna and Child. That's in the New York Times. But what the Times says the next day, don't worry about the black Madonna and the Child. She was originally white, but there was a storm in the 16th century, passed by and turned it black. But the same storm must have gone to Spain, and then it went to Ethiopia, and it went to the Soviet Union and turned all the black Madonnas black. It was a hell of a storm.
Well, the accomplishments of Africa before and after...
Director of the program is John Henrik Clark.
This accomplishment is generally glossed over or neglected in human history. A lot of this, the misconception of Africa and the distortion of African history is involved in a word that is relatively new, the word Negro. A kind of nickname that grew out of European laziness, the inability or the lack of a desire to give Africans their proper identity. In the period when the Europeans had to justify the exploitation of Africa and the demeaning of a whole people, they systematically started the effort to read the African out of human history.
One of the greatest gifts my father gave me as a young boy was the opportunity to listen to lectures of Dr. John Henrik Clarke and Dr. Yosef Ben-Jochannan. Now, at the time, I didn't really understand what they were talking about, but the gift I was given was that I knew there was something that I didn't know. When we open our textbooks as kids, it pretty much starts with black people chose to get into boats or they sold each other into the boats, and that's basically where it started. And for the first time in my life, I was told that there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened that you just haven't really had access to it. Now, we can argue about the past as much as we want to. What color people were, was Cleopatra white, did she have blue eyes? But the truth of the matter is, just knowing that your people had a place in history is enough to give you an identity that makes you feel proud of yourself. The great number of children on this planet learn history from people that look like them in a language that their great-great-grandparents spoke and are passing down customs that come from their great-great-great-grandparents, and they continue even to this day. Of course, us as ADOS Black Americans, we have a very unique history because we have history before the boat and after the boat. And much of our history about what happened before the boat is told to us by people that were on the boat or descendants of the people that were on the boats and didn't look like us. It's just history. And so if there is some kind of value in making a certain group of people not see themselves as valuable, then of course it's natural for those people to look for validation in different places. And unfortunately, what we're seeing is many young ladies would like to see themselves as Helen of Troy on the silver screen. Now, I'm not faulting them for that, but you have to understand that there's going to be pushback because that's the place that some young ladies see themselves as. But the point of all of this is that the reason why Dr. Ben-Jochannan and Dr. Henrik Clarke are so important is because they are two black men looking for black history to define black people in. If we don't have this connection as black men and black women together, and black women are going to go to other groups of men to look for validation for their beauty, I just think they're going to be disappointed in the results because they're going to look for beauty in people that look like them. And so when you talk about passport bros and things of that nature, it's very easy to point the finger at black men and say, why can't you make the world see us as the beauty standard? And the truth of the matter is we can't do that. And so if you want black men to do that, black men have to go somewhere else and just find someone that's going to love us for who we are. And our kids are going to look more like us than, say, they were going to look like our mates because of our strong genes. But that aside, going to Hollywood looking for this validation for black beauty is not going to be it. There are going to be many people that are going to push back and say, the people that look like me, my wife, my daughter, my sisters are the standard of beauty. And that's to be expected. And for the young black ladies looking to be validated for black beauty in Hollywood by men that aren't black men, I just say good luck to you. And I say, don't blame black men for the reaction that's going to come from that, because black men cannot make other men define you as their beauty standard. This means, of course, that my name is Bennett and I'm not in it. Don't blame black men for other men's standards. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, catch you next video. Take care, guys.